Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. My name is Rahul. I am the investment manager to the European Energy Efficiency Fund. And today I have the pleasure of having Gil Yadav from the Area Metropolitana de Barcelona. He is the head of Department of Energy Transition at AMB, where he promotes renewable energy projects, energy efficiency, energy communities, and green mobility. Previously, he has worked in the field of research and engineering in the areas of offshore wind, water resources, and climate change. Welcome, Jill.
Hello, thank you, Raul, and hello, everyone.
Jill, I have a few things that I have been reading about, and lately I've noticed that Barcelona has always been in the news for being a modern city.
Mhm.
Likewise, Barcelona is challenged by energy transition. What is AMB's role in leading this energy transition? Could you explain a bit?
Yes, well, AMB is the Municipal Public Authority of Barcelona and the 35 municipalities around. We have the typical competences of any big city, big metropolitan area, as waste treatment, water cycle management, housing, urbanism. But also in our case, we have the competences of energy transition. So we are trying to lead this revolution and this process and to do it as better as we can.
But AMB is like a super atypical government
Mhm.
body, which makes it very unique. But what are the features of its uniqueness?
Yes, actually, in other countries like in France or in UK, it's very common that you have metropolitan bodies, metropolitan government bodies to manage all all these competences. But in Spain, it's really unique. We are the only formal metropolitan authority. So in the field of energy transition, this is I think especially useful and unique
Hmm.
because I think that energy transition in cities it's about aggregation. It's about yeah trying to achieve the aggregation of very little and distributed projects of renewables of energy efficiency. So, what the European Commission tried to promote is precisely this aggregation and this joining effort. So, I
Hmm.
think that the fact of having this public and metropolitan supramunicipal structure puts us in a very interesting position to really accelerate and reach these climate goals.
Very interesting. Plus, it is much more forward-looking than usually a typical government entity.
Yeah.
So I would be really interested to see if you can share some of the key energy strategies of AMB, and if possible, give some figures to put things in perspective.
Uh-huh. Yes, look, we have two main strategies, two main axes of action. First is what we call 100% renewable city councils 2030,
Hmm.
and then we have energy communities. In the first one, we are trying to have our municipalities, so um, buildings and public lightings, to reach neutrality by 2030. That means to install over 150 megawatts of renewable energy, mainly solar, but also wind, and then to reduce in 40% the energy consumption of these assets.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in PV, at the end of this year, we will reach the figure of 15 megawatts installed, and also 160 um, yeah electric vehicle charging points in a project that we call photolinears, which are actually PV solar canopies
Hmm.
with EV chargers. Then also we try to focus in a very important thing that also links us, I think, EF and AMB, which is the obsession of find new investment models. Yeah, this year we have closed the tender of a very, very important project for us, which is a solar PV ESCO
Mm-hmm.
tender, which is a big PPA, the biggest ever plant in Spain from public administration.
Mm,
And I think that this will be a very replicable model, not only for other municipalities in Spain regarding PV, I mean, but also for us to begin a big path of new investment models in AMB. For
mm,
example, also now we are beginning a project with you, a technical assistance facility, to make a broader and bigger ESCO tender. And also what we are envisaging for the future is the Super ESCO 2030 project, which is trying to replicate this ESCO model to uh, in a in a systematic way invest in all energy efficiency measures in buildings and public lighting to achieve 100 over 100 million euro investment in replacing lighting, replacing uh, old boilers, and also doing more PV. So I think that this idea of having a systematic approach of ESCO model to fulfill all the possible investments that have a lower payback than
mm-hmm.
15 years, it will be a key strategy and a key path to follow in the forthcoming years. We also have um, some um, more innovative projects, for example, flexibility, demand response, vehicle to grid storage. I think that these technologies will be also key to ensure that all these renewable energy investments that we are trying to do have a really consistent and useful place in the market. No? So
Mm,
yeah, doing with demand and generation, like putting it together and shifting loads and
mm-hmm.
ensuring that the renewable uh, energy that we produce is consumed. Um,
Right. And I wouldn't agree less. I mean, scalability and transfer of the best practices and
mhm,
replicability are obviously something to emphasize and push forward,
mhm,
because if there are certain good projects in one area, there's no reason why this should not be replicated to other areas and moved in
mhm.
a pace which is faster than before.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's clear. We are very open to other public authorities to um, to explain them all the learnings that
mm,
we've done these past years with this first big uh, solar PV ESCO. So yeah, I think that this is key. We need to share because we don't have time to waste.
Urgency, urgency. I wouldn't
Mhm,
agree less. Which brings me to something which has been intriguing my mind
mhm,
is perhaps from the public authorities' perspective,
mhm.
energy communities is something that they can also work on. Is there a particular example to which make it is easier to make the energy community more tangible and to drive the point home?
Yeah, look, in AMB, we are trying to find our role in this big project, which is energy communities from the European perspective. And what we've we've thought that we have a very important role to play is to give support to citizens, to SMEs, to to accelerate their PV projects or in general the energy transition projects.
Mm,
So we this year also we put in place a very nice project which it's called La Taulada, which
mm,
means the rooftop in Catalan. And La Taulada, the rooftop, is a one-stop shop facility that provides support to citizens and SMEs, both in a physical manner, so in physical offices with with yeah, uh, where any citizen or SME can go and ask for neutral and independent counsel.
mm,
But also we have digital 24/7 facility to give this support, so any people from anywhere in A and B can ask us, and we will provide them support. I think that this is especially important in A and B because our housing structure is mostly uh, multifamiliar like household. So
Mm-hmm.
the only way we can promote solar PV is by um, shared self-consumption.
Mm.
So yeah, in a rooftop of a multifamily building with several consumers, and this is not as easy as we can
Imagine.
find in a single family
Mm.
building. So yeah, our territory, our housing morphology is really dense. So we need to put effort in these shared PB facilities.
Yeah. And I'm just going to digress a little bit because you mentioned in the previous part that you had
Mhm.
approached the technical assistance facility from the
Mhm.
EEF. So, what has been the objective behind asking for this technical assistance support?
Yeah, I think that, well, this is a very nice project also because I think that here the EF has really find the good point to help us, the local authorities, because as you may know, um, it's quite difficult sometimes to go fast doing tenders and doing carrying out these big tender processes with new investment models uh, inside, so ESCO models
Mm.
and all that. So I think that besides granting the energy audits for to investigate in public buildings and public lighting, I think that what is really nice and really key is that the EEF itself um, does the all the tendering process. So I think that this is really important because it ensures high quality and fast energy audits to start and to accelerate all the complex processes of ESCO models. So here in specifically what we planned, it's a big ESCO tender with
Mm.
a 10 million, 11 million investment plan in energy efficiency and PB measures, and it will cover 15 of the 36 municipalities in A and B with 77 buildings and the public lighting of two municipalities.
Mm.
So we're really we're really thrilled to see this project start, and yeah, I think that as I said, EF has with this technical assistance facility, um, yeah, gives us the right point and the right help
Mm.
to accelerate this.
Well, I mean, it is our pleasure that you choose to seek out our help. But I mean, if you look at the total scope of work, we're talking about a few billions of euros investment across Europe. And
Mm.
then I hope more and more cities can get their projects up and going so that we can approach the targets that we have faster.
For sure, I think that main cities in Europe, or I can say because we work a lot with other public authorities in Europe,
Mm.
have the same problem that we have, which is, um, yeah, the complexity of ESCO models and the long uh, tendering processes. So I think that it's, believe me, any public authority that will hear us,
Mhm.
uh, yeah, let's please, yeah, give a chance to this facility because I think that it will be very useful for all of you.
Well, I think there's a lot that myself and a lot of audience can understand that
Hmm.
that Barcelona is making a lot of efforts. You talked about the ESCO Solar PPA, the idea of a super ESCO,
Hmm.
and then making projects investment ready. And then you also talked about La Teulada, which is
Hmm.
again an exceptional example for everybody.
Mhm.
Can you help me paint a picture of how Barcelona will look like
Mhm.
once the investment plans until 2025 until 2030 are concluded?
Mhm. Yeah, our vision look is that at 2030 we finally uh, achieved this big objective, which is climate neutrality for public municipal assets. I think that we must do it, um, even if it's really complex, but we must do it because we need to
Mm,
be, for example, I think, or all the scientific community, um, and the energy, sorry, the European Commission explains us that the big effort begins after 2030.
mm,
So I think that AMB, our vision is that 2030 we reach this objective, and after that we need to keep this track and help then our societies to follow this path. So I think that
mm,
after 2030, projects such as La Taulada, the rooftop, will be really key because after 2030, once we could give example as public authorities, we will need to put all our efforts to decarbonize mobility, industry, households, and all these key sectors in our economies.
mm, mm. Very, very interesting. I think
Thank
I think Barcelona has always been a city of admiration, and this will only make that go a little bit higher for everybody, and things that can be learned from Barcelona and can be replicated.
thank you very much, Raul.
But I mean, for me, it's quite interesting because we are all in the same energy transition universe,
Hmm.
and it's also from our perspective interesting to see how cities and ESCO companies move in the in the ability to make this transition happen and take it as a challenge towards them. But,
Well, you know that public authorities, we are always interested in the investment, in the investor ecosystem community, because I think that you have a very important role to play in this transition. So I'm really interested in know what's your opinion of the investment landscape, how you will meet or you will help us to meet this challenge of energy transition role.
well, energy transition is like a cornerstone of
Hmm.
European Commission's ambition to make Europe climate neutral and to keep the global warming under the famous 2-degree target,
Hmm.
right? Uh, for some, the energy transition has become mainstream now,
Yeah.
perhaps after European Commission put it as an important objective. But for the EEF, it has been an objective for more than a decade now. uh,
Uh-huh.
and it has been our mandate to support ESCOs and public companies to accomplish the investment needs. And the EEF continues to see this challenge as an opportunity across Europe. So our objective is always to think out of the box to create
Hmm.
innovative ways of financing and then to bring the challenge to an objective and a logical end by supporting with financing. But obviously, the effort starts at home.
Hmm.
We want to share the best practices with the municipalities and public authorities and then motivate them using the technical assistance facility for making a project investment ready or by putting together a financing structure which will allow
Hmm.
the public authorities to benefit from the funding.
Hmm. Yeah, I think yeah, it's very important. We need to keep this approach each other. Yeah,
Mm.
the investment ecosystem and public authorities because yeah, we need each other.
But how do you think should public offices approach the energy transition in their cities or in municipalities? I mean, given that Barcelona has been making a lot of efforts, and
Hmm.
it is evident from what you've mentioned that these results will begin to show in 2025, leading to 2030, and then we will see a Barcelona which is much more sustainable and green. But can you give us a little bit about how should the other public offices approach the energy transition.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's a there's a very important thing, which is to act fast. We don't have time. Yeah, the scientific community is every day, saying to us that really we don't have time, and we need to act and to play dramatic changes in our economies and in our behaviors. So public authorities have uh, to be in front of this battle, and we need to really act fast. And to act fast, I think that we need to use all the instruments and all the tools that that we can use to accelerate it. And I think that this mm, search uh, for new investment models to not only the budgets and the equity of itself, of the public authorities, but also these financial tools that funds as EEF can can give us. I think that this is, as I said before, this is key to really reach and to win and to really complete this revolution that we need to do it to do really fast. So I think that this would be my main concern, or my main idea to share, to act fast, because we really don't have time.
Agreed. Totally agreed. I hope there's also an agreement amongst the public offices that
Yeah,
they have to act fast. Well, I mean, I think it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I'm really thank you for finding time for this
uh,
dialogue and for sharing your thoughts and your experiences and best practices within Barcelona. I look forward to seeing Barcelona in the near future,
yeah,
and of course, look forward to keeping in touch.
yeah. Thank you very much to your role, and to the fund, and to everyone that has listened to us.
Thank you.